Hello guys, welcome back to Simple Blissful Living. Today I'm bringing you a very simple and basic recipe for the very well known and well loved breadfruit in Fiji Islands. We call it uto in Hawaii. I know it's called ulu, and I'm not sure what it's called the rest of the world. So whatever you call it in your country, please let me know down below what you call it. But I grew up eating this and I absolutely love breadfruit. I like it simple, I like it in curry, I like it battered and fried. It's so versatile, so delicious, and it brings back so many memories from my childhood whenever I get to eat this. So I was fortunate enough to get this at the Asian grocery store here. And if you live even on the East Coast or West Coast, you can get this fresh at most Asian stores. So if you're looking for breadfruit, I would definitely go and scope around. It comes like sometime different parts of the year, but definitely pay a visit and you might find it. So I personally don't know how to pick breadfruit, but from my research, you want to pick one that looks ripe, that has the white spots. And I actually asked a gentleman from Fiji for help to pick these out for me, and that's what he recommended. And if you don't have one that's mature, I know this. If you feel like the breadfruit you have isn't mature, make sure you oil your knife. So I was pretty sure this one was mature, so I didn't oil my knife. But as a precaution, you should always oil your knife and your cutting board because it makes cutting it a little easier and clean up a little easier because it does leave this sticky residue sometimes. Use a very sharp knife, and I'm doing a simple boil and fry. So before you cut into it, make sure you wash it thoroughly because you are cutting into the flesh. So I washed mine, and now I'm just I cut it into half and then into fourths, and then I core it. So this is the best way I know how to core it. You want to remove the core, and then you cut it to your desired shape. I am showing you different ways to core it. A paring knife works really well, and as does a big knife. But if you don't have a big knife, then you can use a paring knife to have better control of cutting the core out. And once you have the core cut, you can. I like to slice mine up thinner, but you can boil them as this size. But I like to slice mine up a little bit thinner. You can divide them into 3 parts or 4, and then I go on and peel them. And there's 2 ways to peel it. So you can use a vegetable peeler to peel this. It's quite easy. The skin isn't tough, and it makes the process quite simple. You do have to go over it a couple of times because I like to get a little bit deeper in to make sure there's no green parts. But a couple of times and it comes out. With the paring knife, it's just as easy. You just peel it. You just take the green part, or it can get a little brown too. And once you peel it, you want to put it in a bowl of water. I'm using cold water here. It's going to help it not get brown too quickly because uto does tend to get brown if you're cutting it when you're cutting it and you just leave it out. That does come out when you wash it though, so it's not a big deal. But I like to keep it in this water and not just rinse it off when I'm getting ready to boil it. So while you're doing this, go ahead and set a pot of water to boil so you can boil your breadfruit. Once you have all your pieces cut and peeled, if you're using that bowl of water, just go ahead and wash off all the pieces. Make sure there's no brownness using that same water. And if you find that any of the pieces are thicker or wider than the rest, then go ahead and cut them into the same size. You want them approximately the same size because if one is too big than the rest, then it's not gonna cook at the same time. So you want them all in the same size, if as close as possible, and that'll help it number 1 boil at the same time, and number 2 fry at the same time as well. Once your water comes to a boil, you want a rolling boil here. Go ahead and add salt. So this is your First opportunity to season the breadfruit, just like cooking any root vegetable or pasta or anything like that. You want to make sure you salt the water because it seasons the breadfruit. You can add whatever else you want at this point. You can add garlic, peppers, other spices, whole spices. It will really penetrate the breadfruit and the flavors will get in. I kept it simple because this is how I've always had it. But I think next time I'm going to try adding in some garlic. So you want to add all the breadfruit pieces in the pot, and then you're just going to boil this for anywhere from 10 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on your breadfruit. Mine took approximately 12 minutes to boil. Initially, I had covered this to get the water boiling quickly again, and once it started boiling, I removed the lid and just let it boil uncovered. You do want to stir it, move it around a little bit, and then the best way to check if your uto or your breadfruit is done is to take a skewer or a wooden chopstick or a fork and pierce it, and if it's soft, then it's cooked. And that's when you want to stop boiling it and drain the breadfruit. Once your breadfruit is drained, you want to let it sit for a while to make sure all the water's drained out. And while that is happening, go ahead and set a kareya or cast iron pot or a frying pan with some oil on high heat and get it up to temperature. You want it at about 350 degrees, or when you drop a piece of the breadfruit and it starts sizzling up right away, then you know your oil is ready, and then you're just going to merely fry this. It's really this simple. You just want to fry it to your brownness. I like them a little bit more brown than normal, but just fry them. Mine took about 10 minutes on medium-high heat. I was playing around with the heat from medium to a medium-high to high. You can definitely fry these at high. They're already cooked, so you're just getting the golden color and the crispiness in them. I kept it between medium high and high. Took about 10 minutes for each batch to get really golden brown and the color that I like. You do want to, of course, flip them around and move them around in the oil periodically. Best way to check is to flip and see if it's as brown as you want it. This is my desired brownness. Again, if you want them a little bit more brown, go ahead and let them get more brown. If you want them less brown, if you don't want them as golden, you don't have to fry them that golden. It's definitely personal preference here, and this is how I like it. Once they're all fried to your desired brownness, then go ahead and drain this on a paper towel lined tray or bowl, and you can sprinkle some seasoned salt on this, or salt, or anything else that you want. I just like to keep it simple. Again, I like them plain, but I like a good chutney next to it. Now, if you're in a pinch and you don't have chutney, hot sauce and chili sauce with ketchup works perfectly for this. You have to have this with a cup of cha, lal cha, best ever. And it's absolutely delicious. It's soft. It's not super crispy. You can make them crispy if you want, but they're just so delicious, so simple, and it's such a versatile fruit, the breadfruit. So if you've never tried it, and if you see it at the grocery store, go ahead and give this a try. You'll be pleasantly surprised. And if you have eaten this, growing up, I hope that you can find it fresh and bring back those memories. Until next time, you guys, please take care. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button. And until next time, I'll see you guys very soon. Happy cooking. Bye-bye.